Hi, my name is Martin, and I'll be presenting on topic 1. Are drugs dangerous because they are illegal, or are drugs illegal because they are dangerous? The key question I'll be answering is that drugs are dangerous because they are illegal. Learning objectives are to show that drug usage goes beyond the conventional feels good and social pressure arguments. It also examines how the problem of drug abuse extends beyond the physical effects. And this is a presentation outline. First, I'll provide an introduction on the history of drugs and its prohibition, followed by a discussion on youth and drug abuse, backing this up with the case study of the Netherlands. Lastly, the economic theory for illegal drugs usage and how legalizing it may prove more effective against the war on drugs will be discussed, following up by a conclusion with suggestion and the reference list. So, why do people abuse drugs? According to the American National Institute on Drug Abuse, they do so either to feel good or to cope with difficult problems or situations. However, drugs are dangerous because it may lead to accidents and overdose, resulting in permanent disability or death. Furthermore, chronic illnesses such as brain damage can occur due to drug addiction, as shown in this picture below. Throughout the world, there are international laws to control the movement of drugs, such as the Convention Against the Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances in 1988. However, the legality of drug abuse depends on the country itself. In this figure, it shows that the legality of cannabis in the world is clearly differentiated in different countries. In this section, I'll talk about youth and drug abuse. Among the youths, accessibility to drugs plays a huge role in the kind of drugs they consume. From the graph from the Singapore Central Narcotics Bureau, it shows that inhalant abusers are significantly higher among youths, highlighting that youths may find inhalants as an easy escape route for their problems. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, inhalants can be commonly found in the household and are highly dangerous with the potential to cause permanent damage to the brain. This phenomenon suggests that the choice of drug use could be correlated to its legal status. In the case where all drugs of abuse are banned, the individual may seek the most accessible or more rewarding drugs, such as heroin, and disregard the level of danger it may bring. Perhaps this may be so because youths hold a casual attitude towards the usage of drugs, as stated by Dr. Carroll, the Director of Youth Services at the Singapore Children's Society. Making drugs illegal can also spark curiosity to try it out and to boost the individual's ego for having been there, done that. In the case study of the Netherlands, the government accepts that the use of drugs of abuse is inevitable in a modern society, and rigorous law enforcement is likely to breed a violent underground black market and marginalize drug users and traffickers even more. Therefore, in the 1976 Revised Opium Act, there is a separation of the soft and hard drug markets, allowing retail trade of cannabis and derivatives in coffee shops. By normalizing the cannabis market and providing a quick and easy fix, the public attention is directed away from more harmful drugs, such as heroin. However, it is important to note that the government is also pragmatic and introduced safety nets such as empowering the police force to report suspicious drug abusers. The policies do not stop here, and backup plans such as efficient public health care system to provide counseling and rehabilitation program was also created. Internationally, the Dutch government also continued to collaborate with other countries to fight drug trafficking. The successes of the policies in the Netherlands can be summarized in this slide. From the 1980s to the 1990s, there had been a stable record of drug addicts at around 20,000. And this group of drug addicts are actually increasing in age, meaning that there's a significantly lesser number of new drug users since the law was created. Furthermore, there's also a lower percentage of drug users compared to the USA as shown in the 2001 National Household Survey. Particularly interesting is in the area of the marijuana. In assessing the case study of the Netherlands, while the legalization of drugs may reduce usage out of curiosity, other factors such as the low rate of poverty in the Netherlands and a superior healthcare system do play a part in creating this favorable situation. Lastly, economic theory was used by Becker, Murphy, and Grossman to study the usage of illegal goods, and they came up with the conclusion that fighting the war on drugs by legalizing drug use and taxing consumption may be more effective than the prohibition of drugs itself. This is so because the monetary tax on legal goods could cause a greater reduction in output and increase in prices. Coupling this with adequate law enforcement to prevent drug producers from going underground, the war on drugs is likely to improve. Lastly, they also show that there are differentiated views on legalizing drugs based on income level, with the higher and middle level income families prefer drugs to be illegal to avoid high taxes, while the poorer groups would like it to be legal to prevent them from gaining access to the drugs. While the drug is illegal, the poor will become a more vulnerable group as they have easier access to the drug as a form of escapism. This may lead to drug addiction and the need for an additional source of income to feed it. Thus, they can also be controlled by drug syndicates to get involved in drug trafficking. However, there are limitations to this economic approach because drug abuse are inherently embedded to social and cultural contexts, while this economic modeling seems to ignore both of them. As shown in the pictures below, drug usage in the UK is seen as a party culture, with a lot of energy and positive vibe in it. However, in the Iran, it is actually a form of stress release mainly done by the poorer income groups. In answering the key question, making drug illegal certainly makes it dangerous, in the sense that you would be tempted to try it out of curiosity. Drug abusers may also be encouraged to try more dangerous drugs such as inhalants and heroin, as the cost and benefit between these drugs are similar to one another. Furthermore, illegal drugs may also form a lucrative black market, with syndicates preying on the more vulnerable poor group, feeding their addiction through drug trafficking. However, from the case study of the Netherlands and reports, we see that drug abuse do have an embedded social and cultural context, making the legalization and taxation of drugs, as suggested by Becker, not the most effective or probable solution. Perhaps selective prohibition of drugs, such as separating the soft and hard drug market, as in the case of the Netherlands, is an area governments can look into. In conclusion, drugs are made more dangerous by being illegal. And here is the reference list for the articles used in this presentation. Thank you.